This is not the most conventional take on your spirit guides. This comes from tens of thousand hours of practice myself with clients. I've even written a book on this called Your Energy First, How to Be Your Own Transformational Healer. When it comes to your spirit guides, I keep getting the same questions over and over again. And I'm going to help you reframe this perspective on them so that you have more clarity with them, so that, dare I say, you can receive even more from them. Okay, so here are the questions that I get. First thing out of the gate is, how many spirit guides do I have? And one of the things I want to share is I've been an energy practitioner for over 15 years. I would never say I know the answer to anything. We don't have all of the details of what goes on in other realms and on the other side for a reason. What I have found is that in every single session where I help people communicate with their spirit guides, I give them messages from their guides, I intuit them, I don't channel, because I teach the inner light framework, which is a little bit different. And when I share these messages, the guides never, ever, ever focus on them. They don't. So, as far as how many guides, what happens is they come through sort of like a funnel, if you will, and all of the information comes through and helps me help the client, if that makes sense. So it's fun. I love it. And at the same time, they never, ever, ever focus on them. And quantity does not matter, because for you to know how many spirit guides you have, how does that help your life? I mean, truly. And like, okay, I have five, you have seven, she has nine, he has two. Like, what does it matter? Truly, it doesn't. So how many you have is part of the human conditioning. So people will also ask, what are my spirit guides' names? And I had this question too eons ago. And what I have found is you and I are really good at projecting our human experience onto the spirit realm. So we want to remember that our guides are in energetic form. They're on the other side of the veil. So when a guide presents itself with certain materialistic items, number one, you want to have discernment. Is this actually a spirit guide? Because we think negative energies or bad energies are going to show up as bad. They actually show up pretty smart, and they do try to get your attention. So you always want to feel into your heart and into your light. I set the intention, I'm only communicating with my spirit guides and only that which is for my highest good, so that if they do begin to show you those signs and symbols, you know it's information to help guide you, again, because they do not focus on themselves at all. They don't have names. You and I are in spirit, and then we're born into human form, and then we're given names. And then sometimes our names change because of marriage or whatever reason. So guides just don't have names. The other thing is, when we start to identify them with our human world, we also project onto them the need for them to be like a parental or guardian figure to us, or we kind of put them on a pedestal. And our spirit guides are our teammates, they are our allies, they are operating on behalf of your higher self. So basically, you and your spirit guides and your spirit team, because your spirit guides are on your spirit team, they're part of it. Everyone's there to help you and help your higher self evolve and go through the experiences you're meant to go through on this earth. So they don't give answers in the sense that they'll give answers so that you can avoid pain, but they will give guidance, and they will always help you, reflect back to you to help you learn the lesson. So if you feel like you're talking to your spirit guides and you're not getting a ton of information, you can ask them, like, what am I missing? What am I meant to learn here? What's the lesson here? Or how would you have me be instead of? So, I'm feeling this way. How would you have me be instead? And sometimes the spirit guides messages are to kind of like walk yourself through the challenging times, the shadows. And other times they're like, okay, it's time to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Believe it or not, spirit guides have delivered that message many of times to myself, to clients. It's always an interesting message to deliver. But it's funny because everybody's receiving messages from their spirit guides via their intuition all the time, their own way. So it usually does resonate with people. They're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I've been feeling that lately or something. So getting back to our spirit guides, male or female, again, we are energy. Everything's energy. Einstein's theory of relativity. So human form is not something that applies to the guides. Now, where this differentiates that I have perceived, so in my perception and work with spirit guides are very close to us. It's a very intimate relationship. People will tell me they feel like if, there's another version of myself that's being my guide right now. And I'm like, I get that because they are so close to us. And I'm not saying that that's not in the realm of possibility. I haven't seen anything like it, but even with even with over 50,000 hours of energy work, like that's a drop in the bucket in the whole realm of energy. So it's totally possible. Anything's possible. My form of energy work is just very simple, clear cut, brass tacks, if you will, logical to some degree. My degree's in finance, my background's in, I was in tech for 17 years. So I do have an approach of simple, streamline, and doing what's best for you and integrity with it for everyone involved. Okay. So what do my spirit guides look like? I got off track there for a second. So when a what I have seen, what I've witnessed and experienced time and time again is that it is a spirit team member and not a guide who will come through with being more of the masculine energy or the feminine energy, or, maybe with names or symbols and whatnot. I've just found that our main spirit guides are just, they're so clear and ingrained in us, and there's really not a lot of separation with them that with when we do start to see differentiators, it's typically a spirit team member. And also, if we think about this, does it matter? Like, does it matter? Does it matter if it's a guide or a spirit team member? It just matters how you feel when you are working with them. Okay, and they will never boss you around, by the way. They won't. So, certain things to look out for. Okay, how do I know if I'm really, speaking of, how do I know if I'm really connecting with my spirit guides and not just making it up? So, energy work has always existed and your intuition has always existed. You become more attuned to it and you develop that muscle in your lifetime over time. And one of the biggest things I see is people, we bring our human conditioning of learning via textbooks and tests in school, or we get hired for a job and then we have a boss or supervisor who continues to check on us. They tell us what to do and then we follow along and then, okay, checkbox, you get your paycheck. And energy work is very different. It's asking you to trust yourself. It's asking you to believe in yourself. It's asking you to take some risks, right? Healthy risks, like a risk in believing yourself or a risk in understanding that, okay, if I rest tonight, this is going to do wonders for my energy. Just as simple as that. So the other piece is when it comes to guides and guidance, if you are out of your power and asking your guides to tell you what to do, they will have to turn down their response. The more you are in your power and you view them as helpers and allies, the better off you'll be. I remember there was a time I asked my spirit guides this really pointed question and they said, yes, that's going to happen. And I slept so well that night. And then there's other times, I remember this so well. I'd be asking them so many questions and they would start to kind of drown out, like, go away, not literally, but, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm relying on you guys too much and I'm not just living my life making decisions. And they're like, So it's fun to play around with. And the other piece is this, you have to play around with it enough that you simply begin to feel comfortable. So I tell people, practice communicating with your intuition, with your spirit guides. It's really the same thing consistently for the little things so that when it does come to the bigger things, you get the sense of, oh, okay, like this feels familiar. I don't feel like I'm, reaching this time around. And you're building your personal trust. You are you're exiting the matrix, doot, 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 and you're saying, okay, I am lining into alignment with self. Pretty amazing. It's really amazing. And it takes time. It totally takes time. Be gentle with yourself. I'll ask my guides, I'll be like, oh, shoot, I probably shouldn't have done that, huh? And they're like, no. I said, okay, so a better alternative would be this. And they're like, uh-huh, or they give more guidance. So they do not expect you to be perfect at all. In fact, that's beyond laughable. That's just not part of the journey. Like it's built into our journey that we just screw up and they just don't view it that way. You know what the other thing is? There's not a hierarchy on the other side. I would think that there would be, but when it comes, like they view all energy so lovingly and so interconnected. And I wrote about this in my book too, because they gave me this example, but they go, when you look at a child or an infant, you don't judge it and say, well, I'm wiser than you, therefore I'm better than you. You're just at different stages of life. And I just thought that was such a great analogy, and that's how they view it. Okay. Oh, I love this question. What's the difference between a spirit guide, an angel, and a passed on loved one? I always tell people listen to your gut, trust your gut. Whatever feels true for you is your reality, period. We do not need spiritual guru grandmasters telling us what to believe. We need to develop this within within ourself, right? So what I have witnessed, and I work with, ghosts, ancestors, souls that have crossed over, and when a soul crosses over, it can be a total mixed bag on what's going on the other side. And angels and all that good stuff. So, and there's so many types of angels. There's so many types of angels. There's so many types of energy. Hang on, I have to take a sip really quick. This is my dandelion iced tea. And then I put a little black cherry sparkling water in there to zhuzh it up. So good. So tasty. So tasty. So when it comes to loved ones, so we have our spirit guides and then we have our spirit team. So our spirit team would encompass all of this. It would encompass our spirit guides, angels, passed on loved ones. Some angels' work is so large and grand that it's aspects of them that are helping humanity versus, say, like a single archangel being on someone's spirit team. That's not how it works. Their energy is so grand and ours is so dense in human form. The vibration can't be there, right? Can't be that closely connected. But they do help beautifully, beautifully, and they help everybody or anybody who's in alignment with the services that they offer, so to speak, or the vibration that they offer. In regards to loved ones, so a loved one, what I have witnessed, is allowed as close in to our experience to be supportive and be a guide as they are in alignment with your own personal highest truth. So, for example, say, Uncle Willie is like, hey man, I just want you to, you know, I don't know, go become president of the bank. And you're like, well, that's not what I want. And he's like, no, but it is. It is. It's what they want. Uncle Willie would not be allowed as close into supporting you in your experience because that's not in alignment. Now, if Uncle Willie is like, hey, I want what's best for you, I'm going to be here to remind you every once in a while, kick up your feet, have a good time, and not take life too seriously, and remind you that I love you and that you're being supported from the other side, Uncle Willie is in alignment with your true north and your truest path and will be allowed closer proximity to you. Okay. And then the other thing is, I have found spirit guides to be, it's a term people use so interchangeably because we have no definitions for it. A spirit guide is the essence of you. So when loved ones come in and are super close to us, that's a loved one coming in and being a close, loving guide for us. Period. And again, whatever feels true for you. Is there anything I'm asking my own team and guides? Is there anything I'm missing there? It always feels so weird to talk about them like they're right here. And here I am trying to be like, let's talk about you guys. We're talking about you. They're like, no, move on. Okay. Can I ask my spirit guides for signs? Yes. And the bigger thing here is what do you really want? What is it that you're really asking for? Are you asking for love? Do you need validation? Are you allowing yourself to be unhappy unless you see the sign? Or are you saying, okay, I can hold myself and seeing the signs is a bonus and I love myself, but a sign is helpful for me in either direction. So I'm either growing or I'm learning the lesson or okay, if I don't get the sign, it's because they're guiding me in an even better direction. So what we don't want to do is pout or feel down because we didn't get a sign. That's not how it works. So I often encourage people, I'm like, let the sign come to you and your energy will kind of get a ping when you're like, oh, you know what? Marigolds are my thing, or canoes, or, certain type of bird, or number sequence. Let that be your thing, and that's great, but just let it be Spirit's fun way of just communicating with you, period. And when we ask for signs for certain things or we're manifesting, I want you to remember everything's energy and you're using it to create in your life. You are a very powerful creator. You're a very powerful manifester. You're incredible. So don't get yourself down if things aren't working out quite how you want. Just remember to be in alignment and be like, okay, if this isn't happening, what's in my highest truth? What do I really need? One of the things my guides said is they go, people will often manifest from a place of pain. So instead of thinking, oh, I want to create and I want to have this wonderful experience, they're feeling a lack of something, and that lack and that pain is what's causing them to manifest. It's kind of a funny thing we humans do, right? A little bit backwards, a little bit backwards. How do I strengthen my connection with them? And do spirit guides ever leave me? In my experience, again, a spirit guide is a much more finite energy than we even know. It's been my experience that spirit guides they're your spirit guides. And spirit team members come and go. Spirit team members come and go all the time. If you're dating someone, maybe guides come in to help the relationship. Or if you're becoming a parent again, or for the first time, or you're moving, specialists will come in for things, guides will come in for things. I personally have found spirit guides are just like, they're there, they're locked in. And the other question was, how do I strengthen my connection with them? So I love this practice. This is a practice that I teach in my book, but start by connecting with your inner light. The reason we connect with your light is because it takes you from your busy mind, the one that's trying to control things, and it drops you into your body. And your body is one of your most intuitive spiritual experiences. Your body is always communicating with you intuitively all the time. So we drop into our body. That's what the whole point of the inner light is. And when we're connected to our inner light with our mind, instead of letting it run rampant and try to control things, you are now in alignment with your higher self and source energy and your spirit guides and spirit team. And only that which is of integrity. What is integrity? The light. What is out of integrity? Negative energy. The darkness is not always negative or out of integrity. I've been in client sessions where I've seen the most beautiful, I wouldn't even know how to, there's not enough words in the English dictionary to describe earth goddess energy, for example. Guardians of the light are totally a thing. Guardians of the light. They're not, their essence is light, their essence is vibrant, but they're, you know, there to do some work. So, anyway. So when you want to connect with them, you go to your inner light first and you say, I set the intention. I only connect and communicate with my spirit guides for the highest good. Start there. You are putting energy into motion with your words, with your intention. Powerful, important. With all of the work I do, my foundational practice is this, and it's has always been and will always remain the same. You will develop energetic shortcuts of your own where you just feel like you're really locked into your light and you're in your flow. That happens too, and that's great. And then sometimes when something feels a little bit off, or maybe we're engaging with somebody new, it's just nice to re-register that we are in alignment with our light. So from there, then we say, okay, spirit guides, I'd love to open up a greater connection with you. Okay, spirit guides, I'd love to communicate with you more. And then just begin practicing. Ask them, can you please show me love right now? Or what would be a beautiful act of self-love I could do in this moment? And start to notice what they say. Now, here's the kicker. When your spirit guides and your intuition start communicating with you, are you going to listen or are you going to stay on the comfy track you've been living? Are you going to listen and say, you know what, I'm going to do those things. I'm going to take those steps. I'm going to take that action. Or are you like, no, that's too small of a task. That's not going to move the mountain I need to move today. Or are you going to say, you know what, that's nice, but I need to stay in my comfort zone instead. And it's okay. I mean, we're human. We all go back and forth with those things. Don't stress about that. But my invitation to you is that when you receive guidance on something, that you actually take aligned action towards it, and then notice how your energy feels as a result. Thank you so much for being all of you and bringing more of yourself into this world.